So, okay, yeah, okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me here today. And thank you to Victoria and to Ganayo for this nice series of events. And it was funny because I was requested by Victoria to have a presentation about being a CTO, and we uh, we decided together for going into explaining what there is behind the scene of the CTO role. So today I will talk about what is balancing the forces when being a CTO, because being a CTO is something that stay in the middle of many things. Like you have people to lead and to people to face, and you have the technology to pick and technology to be used or discarded, or and the life of the CTO is in the middle of all of that. We will do a very quick journey into this kind of life of a CTO. Uh, let me. Okay, so my name is Sergio Mattone, and I'm a freelance cloud architect at Ghana.io. I'm part of the I'm joining the platform. Uh, I would say several years ago, and but before that, I've been a CTO. And I'm former CTO of WinLabs. It's an Italian company that is working in the field of video streaming. And I also had the experience of founder and CTO of a startup that is Qua, which is the Italian for ear, which is a digital solution for events creation and joining events using a simple mobile app. I'm also a traffic ambassador. If anyone knows what traffic is a cloud tool. I've been a traffic ambassador for many years. And that's a little bit about me. I love Node.js and Golang, and in general, I like what they are called extreme sports. So let's go back to being a CTO, which could be a nightmare or a funny thing. Let's explore that. So to explain what I mean for balancing the force, I picked an example, and let's imagine we're the CTO of a company, of our company, and we have to start a new project. And it could be a new solution, as a new product, a solution for a client, whatever. It's not important. But the key point here will be that I would like to take this example to explore what happens to a CTO in a specific situation and what I mean for balancing in this kind of situations. So let's imagine that we're starting a new project. We will have several tasks, and finally we will have some goals. So we have to, as a CTO, as I said before, we have to deal with technologies from one side, and from the other side, we have to deal with people. That usually means the team or the management. So what happens here is that we want to design a tech stack. We have to decide as a CTO which technologies we will pick for the specific project. And then on the other side, we have to organize the team and decide who is doing what within the project. And we also have to stick with budget and time period. And this means we have several other constraints in our project. But our final goal, I would say, as the CTO is, from one side, we want to deliver a solution that is valuable and maintainable. And from the other side, the people side, let's say we want the team happy and we want the management happy. I wouldn't underestimate having a happy team, because a happy team means you work more in comfort. People is more motivated on what they're doing. Having an unhappy team, it's really a problem for the whole company, the whole company. Yeah. And so let's go ahead. So we have to switch to Jedi mode. Okay. So let's see, we were talking about people and we were talking about technology. So imagine this kind of the early stage of the journey we're going to start. So we have from one side the team and from the other side the management. And from the point of view of the technology, we have what I call innovation, picking something new at technology. And for the other side, I call it steadiness. It means that we already picked something we know very well within the company. And so imagine the CTO will start in the middle of all these things. It will be the very center of this situation. And what I want to analyze very quickly is what is the point of view of technology, of team, and of management. So how do we balance in each of these cases the forces? And I will show you some of my advices and remedies for that. So let's start from a technology point of view. We will have for this project a technology stack. So we now are a CTO, we take decision, okay? So we will talk a little bit later about what is taking decision as a CTO, but the whole point of being a CTO is taking decision in the technology field. And that's what I think is one of the most important duty of a CTO. So let's imagine that for our new project. We have our company, we use a tech stack, we have this new project. So we are already balancing the forces here because we can go for a very comfort zone. We reuse existing thing, we have existing previous tech stack, we apply to this new project or this new solution. We're fine with that. On the other side, we want to jump into something completely new, like libraries or new software, a new service come up. And then we have something in the middle. We pick some existing, we pick some that is completely new. And let's imagine, let me tell you what I use it to pick for this kind of situation. So I spend a lot of time on analysis. What is the best thing to choose? And I face the team. I communicate a lot with the team because the team usually is very enthusiastic. They got a new blog post and they say, "Oh, why don't we pick this new technology?" Because for them it's quite easy. On their side, they want to, learn new things maybe, or they want to face new challenges. But you have to be to take into account from the CTO point of view that you have to evaluate carefully new technologies because they couldn't be mature or they could become easily unmaintainable because you pick this open source library. Oh, that's wonderful. And then after 6 months, the people who's behind this library say, "Oh, don't have more time for that, and we will give up. And if everyone want to jump in, but we wouldn't do any more commit on the library." And what happened to you and to your project? That's a big problem. So let's go from technology to the team, because the team is the one who will work with technology apart from you. So I would say that's a real. I said before that the technology part is very important from the duties of the CTO, but on the other side, uh, we have a team, and you lead a team, and you have to strictly you have to understand what is the emotions going on in your team, what is the situation, the vibes, I would call them, in your team, because As I said before, team happiness is a key for a CTO, and I would say I would call this team satisfaction. And for team satisfaction, don't imagine always like going for, oh, let's pick new technology, oh, let's do something new. You have to imagine that we're not equal and people have different expectation. And so sometimes you have to imagine that people like to be in a little comfort zone, or they don't like to work in a rush. So you have to consider all these kind of level of problems within your team. And I would say the team attitude. You could have people that in the team that want to learn new things, they want to pile new things one after the other. And there are, on the other side, there are people that may want to mastering your teach stack, teach tech stack. They want, for example, become an advanced developer on a specific topic. So my remedies in this guide is really understand the vibe, and especially for new technologies, as I said before, don't follow the flow, don't follow the hype, because people, we've seen many times like claiming things like, oh, this is the new thing. We will be using that, everybody, in a couple of years. And then after 6 months, now we're a member of that thing. So I think that it's very important that you have to be a little conservative in this kind of thing, but it doesn't mean you have to say no all the time. And imagine about, you have different seniorities in your team. You have juniors, and juniors are usually scared by new things. On the other side, you may have seniors that sometimes say, oh, okay, we take these new technologies, it has a problem, let's go back to the one before. We were good with that, why change? So it's, again, it's a matter of this kind of thing. So you have to deal with your team, you have to know your team, you have to understand people, especially understand personal expectation and workload balancing. And I wouldn't underestimate workload balancing, because sometimes you end up with people doing dozens of things and other having few things to do, and after a while you don't understand how to rebalance things. So it's better to try in advance to balance also the workloads between the team member. And another thing to take into account about the team is the working style or the company values. We're not equal. There are some people that under pressure will become not productive, or there are other lazy coders that are, even if plenty of time, they prefer not to be, they take their time or whatever. So I say for that, we, in accordance with the company, in accordance even with the team, you define guideline and you stick with them and pretend from the team. That's the only point I will be a little bit hard with the team. I would say it's a hard requirement, because in my experience, what I've seen, that if you do some exception to this rule, sooner or later there will be a payback for that. You will have to face a problem that is caused by not sticking with the guidelines. So for this kind of thing, yeah, that's the bad part of the CTO. Is don't go to the people like shouting at them. That's not the point. But there are a few guidelines you define with the company or with the team itself, and you stick with them. And I think it's very important. So within technologies, within team, let's talk about management satisfaction. You're part of the management in terms of being a CTO, but on the other side, the whole management satisfaction means about, let's call it in a brutal way, earning money. So it's because the management is about the survival of the company. So minimizing cost, I introduced this, like minimizing cost means also minimizing time to market. and I didn't want to hurt anybody, but this is something I will state from a very CTO perspective. So when we're going to start a new project. So the management is interested in the cost. The management is interested how much they will earn from the product, how much they will spend on the product, but as there are other costs, you will imagine it's how the team will be after the project. There will be the improved skill they will gain. There will be, because I said before, imagine you have an unhappy team after a project like that. Some of the team decide to quit because it was completely unhappy about what was the project and what was the next project. So you have to carefully think about that. So we have to take into account tons of different costs that are, for example, we have licensing, we have product infrastructure to set up, we have implicit costs like team training, design and shaping the solution, but I want to put an exclamation mark on underestimated cost. Meetings. The more meetings you make, the more time the team is losing. So we have to try to go for minimizing meetings, or to take the time of the meetings to say few things that are useful for a discussion that should last in a acceptable time. We have unpredictable issues. Remember, we said before, we decide to adopt a new technology. We don't know nothing about that. What happens if we get stuck in the middle of a problem with that? And then we have very underestimated costs that are documentation. Always, it happens always. Someone else will take care one day about documentation. It will happen. I don't know. Who cares? And it's not a problem. And also staging testing. Testing, from my point of view as a CTO, I put a lot of effort in that, because then there is some people that say, oh, it's not working. Let's try this fix in production, okay? So the final thing about management is that there is, at the end of the whole evaluation of the project we're going to do, the new project we're going to start, we will have to present that to the management. And I think that this is the most important moment before starting the real project. And I imagine that as selling the final solution to the company, because there will be critics in terms of cost. They will ask you, so you have to be prepared in terms of what happens if this go wrong, what we can expect. So you have to understand that your proposal will have some weak point, and okay, but be prepared for, I would say, a couple of options, a couple of different proposals for the very important point. Like, for example, we adopt a new technology, but there is a very important fee for yearly usage, or they require a license for using that. So you have to you have to look for the very hot points in your proposal and be prepared to give alternative option in case the management is completely against them. And that's it. So we're almost there. I put together a small list of final advices. I will recommend a kind of recommendation. As I said before, this is my experience, so I don't pretend to say these are like rules, but from my point of view, from my past experience, they're still valid points. So listen to the team. That's the first thing. Having a good communication with the team is the key to understand. And listening is more than speaking to the team or talking to the team, because most of the time people is not saying things you directly or clearly, but you have to read behind what they're actually saying. So you have to I would say you have to be a little the psychologist of the team in this sense. You have to understand, and you have to detect their attitude, their expectation. It's very important for the balance of the team, And I would say communicate with the management clearly. And as we've seen before, uh, it's not possible to get, the perfect solution at first, or there will be mistakes. But I think that a clear communication, it's not about, and thinking like a team. It's not my fault, it's not your fault. We take this decision, it's wrong, but we understand early and we can take remedies on that. And the final thing is, CTO in his field has to take decisions. So keep being the leader of the decision. With great powers come great responsibility. So at the end, you're the one deciding. You're the one with the final word, and you could listen to the team. You could get influenced, but don't try to be, well seen by the team. It's a different thing. As I said before, you're not the one who should be, making what the team is want, because otherwise you're kind of losing the focus. But you have to listen to them, but then remember to be the leader of the decision. And as I said before, don't be scared by doing mistakes, because any decision, it could be good, it could be bad, but it's better than waiting for other deciding. So take decision. That's my final advice on the whole balancing thing of a CTO. Okay, and I'm ready for any questions so far, Victoria. So hi.